Hey guys, Brian Beeler back in the lab, and we've pushed in another box. Now this one actually was pretty easy to move because it's got wheels on it, but we'll get to that in just a second. But anytime we're sitting in the office and we hear that beep, beep, beep of the big truck backing up, it's an exciting time because it means something big, usually, or heavy is coming. Now this guy's sort of in between, despite the pictures here of the little guys being crushed by a rack. That's probably a little bit more for their 42U racks, but what we've got is a 12U rack from StarTech. Now StarTech we've worked with over the years. They make all sorts of accessories for the data center, ranging from rack nuts to racks themselves, KVM, all sorts of stuff in between. This one is something a little bit different from the company though. This is a 12U insulated rack designed specifically for SMBs, offices, even a conference room, where you want a rack that's got some capabilities, whether it's servers, storage, switch, whatever, but it's got to look nice and most importantly be quiet. So that's what this is. We're going to pop the straps off, take the box off, and see what it looks like inside. Let's see what we've got here. All right, so we can see right away, even just with this initial unboxing, we've got the branding here, a nice wood door with a glass front on it, of course a security lock. The top panel's entirely wood as well, and the side's got a traditional server side panel on it. We're gonna go ahead and do the rest of the unboxing and then take a closer look at what's inside. All right, so we've dealt with all the packing material, and thankfully everything's in great shape. There's no scratches, no damage to any of the paint or the wood surfaces. And really, this enclosure looks great. And it comes with two sets of keys. We've popped those off the door handle. This one goes with the front. These gold ones go with the back. We'll spin it around here in just a second and take a look. So let's go ahead and unlock it. Open the door. It's got a nice set of hinges on it. Opens nice and wide, which is great. So we'll get these directions out of the way. And inside, it's got full egg crate on the top and the bottom, as well as the back door, and then a little micro crate on the two sides in between the four posts of the rails. And it's kind of funny, it won't come through in the video, but when you get in there and start talking and move around, you can just feel the sound being absorbed by the material. There's another bag of rack nuts and goodies in there for securing all of your servers. And of course, one thing that's going to come up is if we put full-size servers in here with all the heat and airflow that they require, enclosed, even with the fans that we take a look at on the back end, it's going to create a little too much for this. So you've got a couple options. You could take the doors off, or the back door perhaps, and we'll experiment with some of that during our review process. But really what this is more designed for are the low power consumption devices, these edge servers and switches and storage systems that are designed for smaller users. So if we're talking about maybe a small rack mount NAS, switch, a couple little servers, then we'll be okay here. But power draw and airflow will be a concern, so we just want to make sure to balance what this is designed for with what the business needs are. So let's go ahead and close this door, unlock the wheels, and we'll spin it around the back to show you what that looks like. All right, so we've spun this 12U guy around, and now we'll take a look at what we can see from the back of this once we drop this panel. Now there's a second set of keys for the back. It's not necessarily intuitive, but as we think about use cases for something like this, you may not want to give front and rear access to whoever it is that might need to push a button to cycle something on the front. You know, as we think about what goes on in the rear of the rack, the networking and power cables, probably not a safe place for those that aren't trained to play. So this rear panel comes entirely off. Again, we can see the egg crate on the whole back of the thing, and It's just funny, as I get closer to this and keep speaking, the sound just gets absorbed into this thing. So I can't wait till we fill it up with servers and really start to get a better sense of what its capabilities are in a noise dampening scenario and from a cooling and airflow. So we talked about airflow a little bit. There are three 3.5-inch fans against this left corner here. And you may be thinking, well, if there's a panel on the back, how do I get power to this thing? Across the bottom, there's 3 rubber grommets underneath. They're marked inside with these little guys. So we could drop the cord through. Also, additional power access there if need be, or networking or whatever, depending on how this is set up. As we look through to the front, again, the egg crate all the way around. This the rack's set up to handle servers from 17 to 22 inches in depth, so that's its overall length capabilities. And one last thing that we can't see from any of these angles is underneath there's 2 sets of fins for ventilation, one to let air come in and one to push it out. So again, once we get going with this, fill it up with some servers, we'll do some more work in the full review for storagereview.com to see what its capabilities are and how this all played out. But for now, this is a good starting point. We'll fill it up with some gear and get going and get back to you with more information on how it performed.